Hello and welcome everyone. Welcome back to FPL Jedi Show. We are now in Gameweek 26. People are looking to wildcard their teams. My name is Hafiz and I would like to welcome Azmin to the show. How's our feeling coming to this week?
Okay, yeah. I did get a red. I did get a slight green arrow, but it was fairly disappointing game week. But yeah, can't dwell on it too long. So yeah, let's go.
All right. So we're definitely going to take a look at how we perform in game week 25. But I think why we actually decide to live stream tonight is because we want to have a clearer picture of how we're going to go forward. And because we are now has relatively know the game week 28 at least, right? Because of the FA Cup results midweek on Tuesday and Wednesday. I think there's some shock result which going to pan out. Okay, of how so-called the blank game week 28 will be. I think we will discuss in further, and then we definitely will touch of what we think we should do moving forward. Let's go to our talking points. Okay, definitely we'll have a look at our team and game week 25. We'll run through the match analysis. We just dissect in terms of how the Arsenal and the Liverpool players, the Everton and also the Wolves player perform. Okay. Then we have a look at the current state fixture moving forward. We definitely have a look at if let's say we want to wildcard this week, how the team should be. Definitely game week 26 fixtures, the captain pick for this week, and our transfer plan, or if I may say, if we decided to wildcard our team. So let's jump straight first, man, to your team. As you mentioned, you got a slight green, but it's a green arrow anyway. You scored 19 points. The average point for this week around 74 points, if I'm not mistaken. So what's your verdict for this week team for yours? Yeah.
So I did take a hit. Unfortunately, the hit was useless, which was well, not to say it was useless actually, because I took a hit so that I could bring in Salah. However, the other side of the was to have a double game week, which was Neves, which unfortunately did not proceed with anything. Sarabia have been an option. It'd be nice to have him because he was the most guy who did score in these two match, right? But that's the mistake there. So I was happy to have Sa for the double game week, only for him to not really do anything, did he? But he did get was that sorry, I can't see very clearly.
Which player?
Sorry, I don't know why my screen. Okay, yeah. So Sa got 5 points, which was just short of the clean sheet. So, which is all right, but
it's still better than 1 point that I can say. Yeah.
Robertson, unfortunately, decided to be benched for Tsimikas in the second match. Bueno was didn't expect much for him, but unfortunately he's now out. Saliba got 12, which is par for the course. Unfortunately, the likes of Gabriel and Zinchenko all scored better. Both our captaincy, Salah. In the end, Saka was the better decision. Well, I guess 4 points, but 11 to 15. So if you had scored Saka 20, I mean, it's a bit of difference, but yeah. Odegaard 11. Nacho, this gamble has seemingly not paid off for now. But I'll still keep him on the line ahead. And finally, Darwin, who doing a reverse, Robertson disappeared for the first match, but unfortunately failed to return for the second. But I think a lot of people had him, so I don't think that really affected me. And that's it. Yeah. So
now we could easily score more than 2 points, right? I mean, if you see the highlight, Darwin did score, but after that rule, because of Jota infringement, I suppose.
I guess it didn't affect me too much because I had already had Darwin for quite a while. I didn't take any hits to bring him in just for this game week. So good.
It's okay. All right. So pretty much the same story for with the rest of the managers who actually bring in at least two players, or if not three players, and Darwin is one of the players that we bring in. And for sure, Klopp did not mention any news in terms of injury, especially for Darwin. Okay, certainly he did play during the midweek. Okay, and because of that, we actually jumped to him, which is, to be fair, based on whatever that we know.
Yep.
You're not jumping to Darwin, so it's okay because you already had
Yeah.
him. People like
Yeah.
me who actually jump in, I think we just need to, based on whatever knowledge or info that we have,
Yeah.
I think that's the best decision that we can do.
Because he played, as you mentioned in the midweek, he played against Real Madrid and was subbed off around the 60 plus minute. But that happened in the last game week as well. He played, and then he and Gakpo were subbed off for Firmino and Jota. So you would think that it's just a pattern of getting the players fit. So yeah.
All right. So basically, others than that, I don't know whether Azmin did think did thought about Sarabia. I definitely had nothing to do with Sarabia in terms of bringing him in. Definitely, if I bring in any Wolves player or midfielder, it's definitely Neves that I can think of, because he's actually the captain, the talisman, and also taking the penalty. So in terms of minute, he's more secure. So I don't think Azmin did anything wrong by bringing Neves. All right, that's the point. Doesn't there. Saka and Odegaard, you got the best player Arsenal. Later we see in terms of who actually scored more for Arsenal players. Saliba 12 points. I think I'll take it. Okay, despite Azmin mentioned of Gabriel or Zinchenko scored more, but I still take 12 points any other day. So Sa got 5 points, better than 2 points what. So to me, everything good. And then we can just move forward and hope to think moving forward what's the best strategy for our team. All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, all right, just let's jump to my team. I scored lesser. I scored 91 points, but actually lesser because I took a -8
-8. Okay.
in
Yep.
2025. So I scored 83 points actually. I am down from my rank 20,000 to 25,000. Okay, right now. But as you can see there, the 8 points hit that I took is actually to bring in Salah, then Darwin because of Mitrovic news, right? And then we
Yeah.
did that. Most of the managers did that. And then I decided
McNeil,
to
was
bring
it?
one Everton player, McNeil, okay, who been really marketed by I followed Big Man Baka, who actually bring McNeil, okay, and then TAA, who actually scored 13 points. So Liverpool players did kept 2 clean sheet, okay, game week 25. But sadly for you, Robertson was not playing the second game, right? If not,
Yeah.
actually get another clean sheet and maybe assist. If not, because Simikas produced the assist for Salah. Is it Salah? Right, Salah goal.
Mm.
Okay, so that's the story. So I think besides Darwin not playing the first game, the 2 points still okay, even though it's actually -2 if I don't did not do any transfer. All right, but other than that, I think in the end, at least Arsenal defender performed okay, because I've been bringing Gabriel like for past 2-3 weeks, but Arsenal did not kept clean sheet. But in this double game week, he kept back to back, so he got 15. Saka 15 points. We did mention want to think about whether Saka could be the better captain pick, but everyone jumped to Salah. But Salah did not perform badly. Anyway, he got at least 11 points, so he got 22 points there. Nketiah is, I don't know, there's something surprising because if never thought that Nketiah can be dropped or bench. He did play from the bench back-to-back game now. Trossard and Martinelli starts, but at least Nketiah produced an assist. But he's now yellow flag, but I'm not too sure. Maybe because of he's not starting, right? But the rest is pretty much underwhelming. Kepa, I think three games now without clean sheet. Chelsea has been woeful. And Buina, just touch a bit. Man, you have Buina. Actually, Wolf only consider after 68 minute. If imagine Bueno actually did not injure and come out from 68 minute, right? You could easily get another clean sheet there. Right. So
Yeah,
that's
it's can you hear me?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you, as mentioned earlier, you have Gabriel. So yeah, which has a few. I think that there was 3 bonus points in the first match. So yeah, that was some good stuff there. And of course TA. I do appreciate your McNeil
Okay.
pick for Everton because he did come with some returns, unlike Tarkowski, who if we'll check later gave a nice grand total. One of the most popular Everton picks end up with a total of 0, didn't he? So yeah, they win some, lose some. That's the game.
All right. So that's how is it when people thinking about these are the type of players that the most transfer in, but in the end they can disappoint you when it comes to the real result, right? So that's about it on our team performance. I just want to highlight from the Gameweek 25 because we want to look at the double Gameweek players who actually perform, at least some post-mortem, okay? Because Arsenal and Liverpool definitely a lot of managers going to have 3 Arsenal players or maybe 3 or 2 Liverpool players. But you can see that in terms of result, okay? Arsenal won both game, okay? First one, Leicester 1-0, kept a clean sheet, and then 4-0 at home against Everton. That's why Everton considered a lot of points. If you're picking Tarkowski or even Pickford, you might lose some points there. Okay, that's what happened, right? And then the biggest winner for Arsenal players, whoever thought it's going to be Martinelli, all right? That's why Martinelli is actually the top high scoring players for Game Week 25 among the double game week players. 26 points. Like 2 weeks back, we're thinking about Martinelli is no more an option. He's now producing 26 points. We touched on Liverpool, got back-to-back clean sheet. Maybe disappoint in terms of attacking return against Crystal Palace, but at least they delivered 2-0 against Wolves. So whoever jumped to the likes of Van Dijk, who actually scored the second highest, got 24 points. They're 2 points short of Martinelli. All right. Everton, we already touched. For Wolves, we don't expect much. Like we mentioned, they only drew against Fulham 1-1. Never got Sarabia. Maybe you can enjoy that 10-11 points. Okay. But the rest, nothing. I can tell you. Right. So the top 5, Martinelli 26, Van Dijk 24 points, Zinchenko, okay, clearly if you're already on board in terms of Arsenal defender, Zinchenko is the right one for last week because he's got 18, but not far behind Gabriel with 15 points and Saka 15 points, but there is no Salah in top 5, man. So can you sum up in terms of post-mortem game week 25 double game week player?
Yeah, Martinelli, he can't keep a good man down, rising to the occasion. And unfortunately, who would have thought that the victim of that Martinelli Trossard thing would be Nketiah? And I would think based on what we've seen in Arteta's behavior in terms of team selection, that's pretty much going to be the team going forward. You say that Nketiah has it not, but then he had a long stretch where he wasn't scoring, and then Arteta mixed it up, put Trossard in the front, Martinelli on the left, and it came with goals. So you can't, and this is the second match running that I think Nketiah was benched, and looks like it's paying off. So I see Arteta continuing to. I think there's one of the tweets I tweeted in the build up to this is I feel that Nketiah has pretty much lost his place for now, with Trossard doing coming up with the in the G formation. So it does put Trossard as an interesting pick out of position, but we don't have space, do we? So that's the problem. We're already full with Arteta, another rejigging, another cross saving where we went for Martinelli to Saka or Odegaard, and now we need to rethink. Of course, if you have if you're planning on wildcard, then that's a different story. So that was the history of and then Zinchenko as the best Arsenal defender. Who would have thought? Because we keep worrying about him being rotated
Yep.
Tierney, but looks like he's locked that place in. So yeah, not no issues there with Arsenal, and I think they are looking to win the title. So I think it makes sense for us to load up with them.
Yep. Another interesting. So I think pretty much we already sum up in double game players. We just touch a bit on team of the week for game week 25. We already touched the Arsenal players. What else did we want to touch? Oh, I didn't realize Ramsdale scored 13 points because he kept back-to-back clean sheet. All right, but Alisson also somewhere there, right? He kept 2 back-to-back clean sheet also, so he actually should have double-digit points also. If you have this team, you're gonna score 177 points. Okay, touch a bit here in terms of other assets that clearly. Here is actually Ings, 13 points. Who ever thought he got the chance? He scored 2 goals, if I'm not mistaken. All right. But gained 12 points, 2 assists against, I think Villa wins against Everton. All right. The rest is pretty much Arsenal and also Liverpool players. But Foden there, 13 points. But we already know in terms of rotation of Man City asset. I'm not sure whether Foden can become an option, but we just know Mahrez, Foden, Grealish, the rest of Man City players are at rotation risk unless you're having Haaland. I think that's the only one we're going to think. Firpo scored 15 points, okay, because Leeds kept a clean sheet and a goal from Firpo. So pretty much this game with 25 team, man. You want to touch anything?
Yeah, so yeah, Ramsdale being the top scoring goalkeeper, but then, the problem again, we all loaded up on Arsenal and hoping for Arsenal returns, especially on the attacking side. So yeah, it was always going to be tough putting him in. But the only thing I want to make point of is Ings with a comeback, finally starting for West Ham and a quick fire brace. So doing really well there and making off with all the bonus points as well. But of course, guess what? Look who's back, Mr. Foden. If you remember that I mentioned briefly, because since City was playing Bournemouth and looking at the rotation, Foden might be an option there. But, of course, being a single match, it was always hard to go into it when you want to go for the likes of Salah. So, yeah, but it's something to bear in mind, especially with the Champions League later on continuing how Pep rotates. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's all I mentioned.
All right. Let's go to our current states fixtures for now, at least, okay, because we already know the FA Cup results and there's some pretty much shock results. Especially, we expect Brighton to win against Stoke, but Leicester losing to Blackburn has confirmed the fixture of Brentford and Leicester. That's why people who actually has Brentford players, especially Tony, I think you're in good position moving forward. We do expect Fulham wins against Leeds. That means Liverpool and Fulham match in game week 28 is called off. Okay, it will not be played. Man City, we expect to win against Bristol City. Okay, Manchester United wins against West Ham. We did expect that, but these two results, okay, actually Southampton plays Spurs on game week 28, and we just need whether Southampton or Spurs win. But what happened is both lose. That actually turned upside down in terms of game week 28. Okay, Southampton lost to Grimsby at home. Okay, maybe Southampton, but Spurs lost at Sheffield United. So with that, on game week 28, we are expecting like a big blank game week. But it turns out that from 10 matches, 7 matches are going ahead. So we can see their fixture in terms of the big players. So we're just missing like Manchester United game and Man City. But the rest are going up. So what's your first reaction, man?
Well, it's a tough one. Obviously, we see there's no Liverpool and Manchester United aren't there. So but we've always known that was going to happen with Liverpool. So now the quest is to plan wisely, knowing there are 6 teams missing from that game week. Yeah, and but in between is straddled in between double game weeks of all sorts of permutations. So yeah, again, as you mentioned, that Sheffield United thing was a huge difference, the biggest problem, and because it sparks a new problem of those who, okay, now suddenly Kane, looking to bring in Kane again, and I mean, it feels like the Kane, having that Kane issue alone has meant a lot of people wildcard triggering because they know that matchup is good when you see on. But Spurs, it's such a weird side, aren't they? So obviously they didn't play a full strength team, but they did defeat Chelsea the
Yep.
other day. So yeah,
Yep.
so Southampton under new manager, but they did lose. I can't remember. They lost the week before as well. So 1-0 to Leeds United. Yeah, in that battle of new managers. So yeah, yeah, but it just looks so attractive to bring in Kane. Other than that, yes, yeah, the Leicester result was a shock, but yeah, so that means the Brentford Leicester game continues, which is good, for me who have Nacho. But,
I can
but
see
it
that.
also means a lot of people are considering Madison again. So yeah, let's see.
Yep, I can see that. Tony owners, okay, and whoever has Kane right now will definitely smiling. It's because it's confirmed that they are going to have a fixture in Game Week 28. I know Afos does have Kane, and maybe he will actually relieve that. Now they can actually have a better players, but I'm not. I did not count my players that can play in Game Week 28, but pretty much I think we can actually feel, if not like 9-10 players at least for this Game Week 28. Okay, with this result, and we already know that Game Week 29, around 12 teams going to play double. Okay, so let's jump to haha. I got this like
Yeah.
Brand Helin planner. All right, I think he's the best in terms of planning. I think that's why I just snapshot from his planner, okay, on Twitter. So if you do not know, Ben Crellin is actually a master in terms of how to plan for this double game week and blank game week and so on. And he's actually partner with Fantasy Football Hub, so you can follow him on Twitter. All right. And what he actually presented is the whole fixture roughly until game week 38. We know now 27. All right, four teams gonna double, which is Brentford, Crystal Palace, the likes of Brighton and Southampton to an extent. We know 12 team gonna double double in 29. Pretty much that will be Manchester United, Liverpool players. All right. And I think Newcastle also gonna double that game week. All right. And then 28 we already know only 6 team gonna blank. All right. And then moving forward, game week 32 is not so difficult to navigate, okay? But people are talking right now, okay, in terms of what's the best moving forward in terms of targeting. We can see there the plan is Brentford going to have 26 fixture favorable, 27 double, and then another double in 29. So people are looking at plus pretty much on Brighton assets too. So maybe first reaction, Min, anything you want to say? I think there's a lot that we can say, but what that
Well,
you, yeah.
Well, obviously, I mean the team that is involved all the way and until game week, until game week 30, and that's with no break and has the double games at the right spot is Brentford. So obviously, sharp interest in Tony, who Brentford play to this week, and then they double. They do not blank in game week 28, and then they double again on game week 29. They're the only team that has that series of fixtures, so it makes sense to bring in some Brentford players purely by fixtures alone and the fact that doubles, and of course that's why Tony becomes hugely attractive. But of course there are other options. Slightly less is Brighton, who also double both in 27 and 29, but they blank in 28. So that's something that we have to take into account when we form up our teams. yeah, so other than that, those two teams have the most, then others have four fixtures, and of course the worst within between 27 and 29. And unfortunately, those who the worst off are Fulham, who only have one match
Yeah.
in 27, 29, blank in 28, as well as Manchester City, who also blank in 28 and only have one match in 27 and 29. Yeah, so Manchester City. So the question is, Haaland, what's the story? Morning Glory.
So I just want to touch a bit. Where is the international break will be? It's actually between 28 and 29. So just to touch on that, if you're thinking your strategy, okay, there's some thinking like maybe we should wildcard after the international break. But the current scenario right now, if you go to watch stream on Football Scout, like before this, I watch burning question, okay, Price and Ronaldo. I think FPL Wire just now, which I haven't saw yet, but I'll see later. Pretty much they are locked in terms of strategy. Wildcard Gaming 26. It's like 12 hours when we actually realize the FA Cup result, and they are thinking the right strategy for game week 26. Okay, so I haven't really thought about it, but I'm open to any possibility because it's team dependent, man. Okay, as we know, all right. So let's jump next, man. Okay, what's the thinking? Actually, snapshot some Twitter from the FPL content creator who actually knows about this. Abu Bakar did mention that if you have zero Brighton and Brentford assets, okay, wildcard in game week 26 make a lot of sense because you want the like of Brentford, yeah, like you mentioned, double game week 27 and 29, so you can plan that, right? Maximize the doublers. Okay, and if let's say Brighton, even though they blank in game week 28, they pretty much have double in 27 and 29 also. So you can plan. Okay, and then free hit in 28, you mentioned, and potential bench boost 29 or 27 is depending, right? So you set up your team. But other great points why game week 26 a good wildcard, if let's say you have a lot of Liverpool players, because Liverpool gonna blank in 28. So like me, I have Darwin, I have Salah, I have Trent. So I already have a lot of fun in those players. And next is actually against Manchester United. Right? So maybe that's another thing that you can see.
What do you
But
mean you
another
had a lot of fun with those players? You only had them for 1 week.
and then another good point, that you can get rid of this Manchester City asset if you start with
Mm.
Mahrez, Akanji, Ake, I don't know, right? These kind of players, you can take this advantage. And then touch a bit on Arsenal player, Nketiah, if you already have him, like me. Nketiah looks like a rotation risk right now. And I can take this opportunity to actually identify the optimal players for Arsenal. I have this chance. If I think Odegaard should be the one, I can take this advantage. If you feel that Zinchenko is the one, you can take this advantage, right? Price did mention, okay, absolutely no need to get into FOMO if your team is well stacked. If you have like Brighton, Newcastle, Brentford players, then you do not need to wildcard. You just take a few hits. That could be the one. Is the team dependent. For Ben Crellin, I just showed you the planner of his planner. He's beginning to think for his team. He's likely going to wildcard. Okay, whether 26 and 27, and bench boost in 29 because double game with players. RPL Architect also did mention about wildcard 26. Harry, I don't know if you follow FPL Harry. He's actually in top 3,000 place right now. He also think that his team need to do well by wildcarding. Okay, 26. And then Andy, also did mention he could actually also wildcard in 26. So what do you think, Wayne? People already think, I'm not fully bought on this idea yet, but what do you think?
Yeah, there's a lot of options there, and you're right in terms. There's some good points by Abu Bakar there, in terms of getting rid of a lot of problems in the team that you is a result of trying to build up to double game week 25, which included having Liverpool and Everton assets, which not really optimal for at least where Everton is concerned. But for Liverpool, they're not being that consistent. But City defense, any of we've seen the crazy rotation options, and of course Mahrez, who just when people thought he was the current flavor of Pep's flavor of the month, and then suddenly he get benched again. So you can see that it's just too risky. So yeah, it does make sense. I guess the question is, there are a few questions to ask, which is like Liverpool. Obviously, they face Manchester United for this game week, but is it really the right decision to get rid of them? So I don't know. It's something to think about, because they pulled an interesting stat. In the last 5 game weeks, they have kept 4 clean sheets, which is quite an achievement for Liverpool this season. It's not something that I'm used. So it's quite a surprise to me when you think of how much they've been conceding all through the season. Obviously, not all the opposition is the same. You got Manchester United coming up. You would expect Manchester United in the strong form they're in, having just won the Carabao Cup, you would expect them to score. But it does have me thinking, is there something there for Liverpool? So, but other than that, coming back to the whole point of Wildcard, it does make sense, depending if you have all your free chips available. And one thing that Abu Bakar does mention is the fact that he could free doubles, set his team up to have doubles in 27, 29, pretty much ignoring 28 to do a free hit there. So, but of course, is it a good idea to free hit in a blank game week? So that's something that, some people like it, some people don't. So you'll have to take a look at the matchups and see whether you can maximize that.
Yeah. After we're looking about game week 28, actually we can try to navigate, because there is not a big blank game week which we are expecting normally in the season. All right, because seven games are going ahead. So pretty much you can set up, because you already know what's going to happen in game week 28, what's the fixture in game week 29. Okay, to be fair, and we can plan. So that's in terms of the thinking of Wildcard 36. Before coming to this show, I'm not too sure, but after seeing these season managers or even the content creator, I'm opened up to see whether my team need to Wildcard this team, because I have roughly template. I have a template team which, like everyone has, I have 3 Liverpool players. I do not have any Brighton and Brentford players. I have Nketiah problem right now. Maybe not so much on Man City players, but these are the things that I'm actually having right now. Okay, I did snapshot Abu Bakar potential wildcard team. Maybe we just run through. Maybe there's something that is a good thing that we can pick up. We can see there's a combo. Pope and Raya. Brentford do play twice. Okay. Pope, that could be option for bench boost suit, right? Newcastle do play double in game week 29. So maybe you can set up in terms of those players. You can see double Newcastle defenders, Shah and Trippier. Definitely Azmi like it, because Shah and Trippier is part of his team before. Okay, Reece James, Chelsea do double in game week 29. All right. We have Estopinan, March, and McAllister. Really load up in Brighton attacks, and all are cheap one. You can bench any of these players at any time. All right. And then optimize in terms of Arsenal players. I feel Saka, Odegaard, and maybe Gabriel could be the best Arsenal players right now. Not Nketiah there. And they fill up in terms of Brentford. Tony is the main player for Brentford. He's up there. And then Watkins has been like 4 game weeks in a row, scored a goal. And then Rashford, by not miss, despite game week 28, you can actually bench him during that game and play the rest. And Haaland is the one that you need to have. So, quickly first, your reaction for this?
So the biggest feature of this wildcard is the fact that you do not need to worry about squeezing premiums in, and that's why you can have not just players who start every match on the bench, but quality players who are capable of scoring fantasy points for you. Look at that back five. You could, it's. I mean, it's great now because especially for those during the blank game weeks, you can afford to bench, and even like Newcastle, you can bench this week because they play City. If you wanted to bench them, you can. You still got three quality players capable of
Yep,
scoring points for you there. So that's the thing, because right now we're looking at that wildcard team, and it does make sense. The only premium player is Haaland. Now, looking at all the draft wildcards that I've seen on Twitter, the other popular wildcard template involves that of Haaland and Kane. So
Mm.
given that Kane and but of course with Kane around, you don't have that possibility of having. You may not have the possibility of having that quality bench. Yeah, so you'll have to balance it out and determine whether or not it's worth the
Understand.
with the investment. So yeah.
Understand. So you can see there. I want to touch a bit in terms of Tony because people might concern two things. He's on 8 yellow cards, okay, and if he got another 2 yellow cards, he's going to suspended 2 games. Okay. Another thing is about his betting cases. Yeah, betting case in terms of it. But pretty much we heard the news that even though he's actually admit to this, but his case will be like hearing somewhere in April, right? So
Yes.
it's going to take some time, and at that point maybe he actually will not be suspended after that hearing, but we just don't know. So I think it is safe to take advantage of Tony this for coming weeks.
So, yeah. So the one thing that I'm not sure, I haven't seen enough of on social media is, you know, is Tony going to be focused, at the moment? Because technically speaking, I think we did discuss this a few months back when the issue first came to light, and it looked like it didn't impact him at all. But now we've seen him; he's actually pleaded guilty to a few charges, but he's claimed trial for more, and that hearing will only be in April. So yeah, and the timing is just nice given the Brentford have the best looking fixtures, as mentioned earlier. So yeah, so it's definitely bear in mind, although I'm surprised there aren't more Brentford players in this wildcard draft though.
He got Raya, another one. All right.
Ah, that's
So,
right. Raya is a great pick, I think. Yeah,
another
it's
option that you can go is actually Ben Me in defense, but yeah, it's just between Shah or Ben Me, I suppose. Or you don't like James, you can put me there.
I'm not I don't know. I think there are better options than me actually in the Brentford data set, but we can look at that later.
All right. So basically, this one of the draft that you can see. But like Azmi mentioned, I'm open up to have a Kane inside here. Pretty much maybe Haaland, Kane, and Tony. But you need, in terms of money, you should have, but you need to sacrifice somewhere. Okay, maybe you do not have James or Pope, but pretty much you can actually do that team lah, and get Kane in instead of Watkins. Okay. Let's go to the next one, which is the Gameweek 26 fixture, man. All right. It's a single game. All right. But the big game for this week is definitely Liverpool versus Manchester United on Sunday night. Okay. And then most of the players, if let's say you're not wildcarding, you're going to have like 3 players there, and some Manchester United players also. Other important match, I think the early kickoff, Man City versus Newcastle. Even though Newcastle has been off form late, they did lost against Manchester United in the Carabao Cup final. I'm not sure about in terms of their moral right now. Maybe Man City can take advantage, but I still feel this a big match because they are in the top 5 bracket right now. Another one, Arsenal against Bournemouth. We do expect Arsenal really continue his win. If he can win against Everton 4-0, I think pretty much you can see another big score against Bournemouth. All right. Other than that, I don't know. We can see whether Potter can really wins against Javi Garcia teams. I think this is another opportunity to him to prove him, okay, whether he's the man to lead Chelsea. Another loss, definitely Potter will scratching his head how to get a win from this team. Other than that, I don't know, Brentford Fulham lah, could be, because pretty much people are thinking to bring in Brentford, and that is actually the last fixture of Game Week 26. Mate, you can touch anything?
Yeah, so yeah, definitely, those with triple Arsenal, you can continue with Arsenal, Burnley, although those who are wildcarding are just looking at those three Arsenal assets and trying to decide which is the optimum, because with Martinelli coming back into play, that Trossard looking like a OOP player at the moment, and we've in just a couple of game weeks we resetting our views on terms of our Arsenal players, but there's some tempting ones. So yeah, Chelsea Leeds won against Southampton the week before. Chelsea had another loss, so yeah, Leeds is smelling blood right there, I tell you. So, sorry. And Liverpool Manchester United a few weeks ago, I was dismissing that matchup as a top team versus a mid-tier club, but surprisingly, because Liverpool have actually run off a decent results, and they now sit in sixth place, so it's not that far away. Manchester United are third, so it is. You are right. It is now. Obviously the historical rivalry aside, but now it's become a lot more closer and interesting. Other than that, yeah, Manchester City, Newcastle could be a blockbuster, but Newcastle have been suffering of late. And the news is that Bruno G is injured again. He came off with another knock, so that will really hurt Newcastle, and you expect that City could realize, of course, those. Of course, we kind of like holding off from City because we know they're blank in 28 and don't double anyway. So that's some curtains to think about. Brighton, you mentioned, so Brighton and Brentford. So Brighton, the likes of Mitoma and and they all come into consideration. But West Ham did win, and they'll be up for it. So it should be an interesting match. And you start. It does make me wonder, with Ings around, can Brighton keep a clean sheet? And I don't see it at the moment. Yeah.
All right. Next, we jump to the captain pick, man. Okay. We know people are going to vote Haaland. 40% manager believe he's the right player to captain. But Saka can be a good punt also this week, I feel. With 29% manager feels Saka could be the better choice in terms of captaincy. Rashford third at 6%, Odegaard 4%, and KDB. I present you three choices here. Haaland is the obvious one. Saka against Bournemouth could be the punt of this week if you want to give differential. We know Rashford has been informed. He scored again in Carabao Cup final, but it's against Liverpool away. So I'm not too sure about Rashford. So what do you think, mate?
Hey, where's Martinelli? So, excuse me. Yeah. So yeah, I'm not sure why KDB keeps popping up there. It's not exactly a reliable pick these days. Even though he did in that double, he was one of the standout players. But they are going to be a bit distracted. And okay, to be fair, the Champions League match is not until the week after. Yeah, but it is one of the most important matches. So you would expect some rotation going on as well. But yeah, City play Bournemouth, so.
City
play Newcastle. So Newcastle don't play with a back three formation. So you will see you wouldn't expect KDB to be benched again for this one. Other than that, yeah, Saka, Rashford, Odegaard. It is tough with Arsenal because they tend to spread their points around. Yeah, but between Saka and Odegaard, I think it's probably still Saka. Yeah.
Do you see a bit haul by Haaland against Newcastle? We still remember 3-3 draw last time around, the reverse fixture.
I think it's definitely possible because Newcastle are in a bit of a funk right now. So yeah, it is possible. So I don't know who to pick myself. So yeah, I'm still trying to figure that out.
Okay, all right. Another note that I want just mention: Haaland did not play in midweek against Bristol City FA Cup, so he should be fresh coming to this game.
Good to
This
go.
and Saka actually played in midweek, so maybe that could affect in terms of his output, maybe. But the fixture is there, okay, for Arsenal. Okay, man. I think let's go to our team. This is your team. What are you thinking?
All right. So, regardless of the wave of wildcarding activity going on, those of you who follow me Twitter will know that, yeah, it's not an option I'm considering at this stage. I mean, we got us. I've got my Arsenal players, three Bournemouth players. I got Nacho. I've got Haaland. So the question is with the okay, Andreas will probably go on top. For maybe well, maybe not even for Neves. I don't know. It's tough. Yeah, maybe for Neves. Then Bueno, of course, I need to. He's out. So Trippier comes in, and Trippier, we know that although Newcastle is fun, but if Newcastle do stage a recovery, you would expect Trippier to be there, and Ward will come up for Sa. So it is a case. It's just a question of refreshing that back line as well, or bringing in Brentford or Brighton players. And I'm looking at Brentford, and I just want to point out, because I think the defense is an area which I could improve on, and one is Raya, who I'm definitely thinking of replacing Saab most likely. Although Ward as a keeper against Southampton is not a bad thing, but then Leicester aren't known for keeping clean sheets these days, even when they win. But okay, but another thing that Abu Bakar Siddiq, and I did retweet this, is the fact that Brentford have been playing with a wing back system lately, especially in away games. So Pinnock and Henry are both the wing backs in that system, and which is why, rather than me, I'm looking at on Henry and Pinnock. I think there's some merit to be considered there, and I can just replace the defender if I'm not confident of Robertson anymore, and I'm not. Then I'll just drop Robertson for maybe Henry. At least I'm more assured of him. So yeah,
Okay, I just touch a
those are
bit. Touch a bit. Maybe Azmin did not have so much faith for Sa and Neves, but it's Spurs, and Spurs has really not consistent. They lost Sheffield United. They
True.
even lost at home again. And Wolves play at home. They should be hype up. They still want to get the points because they're really not safe yet, to be fair. And maybe Sa and Neves could actually produce.
Maybe.
I was thinking because it's against Spurs, which is not consistent enough, and both can actually produce a surprise, right? That's what I'm thinking. Okay, all right. I think that's Azmin team. He's gonna captain Haaland. All right. Next for my team. All right. Okay, just for now, I haven't thought of wildcarding, so this is my team. I got Kepa in goal against Leeds at home. I got 3 Liverpool players there, home to Manchester United. I feel Liverpool can up to this challenge because their form has been turned. Okay, and TAA, Salah, and Darwin up front. I feel Darwin should start this game. I have Gabriel, Saka, and also Nketiah. If because Arsenal played back-to-back game, there is possibility if Nketiah is not injured, he could actually start this game, right? Trossard and Martinelli did share minutes. Maybe Nketiah could get the start again, but because he actually from bench. Maybe Azmin did not agree, but there is possibility. There's possibility. So I feel not bad in terms of Nketiah. All right, maybe he could start this game. Trippier will play for me. I got no other option, Bueno or Patterson, and just on my bench. I feel I can give McNeil another chance against Forest at home, away, even though away, because Everton need points. If anything comes, set pieces is from McNeil. Actually, if I saw the game, McNeil got some shot on target against opponents, so he's not bad a choice. Other than that, that is my team so far. I got my captaincy to Saka. Maybe I did not take a lot of risks in the past game other than Rashford in double game players. But this could be another opportunity if I feel Saka or Arsenal could score big against Bournemouth. We know Haaland quality, yes, no doubt about it. could it be a week that Arsenal won big against Bournemouth and Saka could actually score big points because he scored double-digit points in game week 25? But we just, all right, there's a possibility. That's my thinking.
Yeah, the only worry is a bit of fatigue lah, given they played Arsenal had doubled this week, last week. So that's the only bit of concern there. Yeah, something you need to take into account. And so I mean, more importantly, really have to check the press conference, check the injury news to see if there's any fallout from the midweek matches.
All right, but on my mind right now, I need to study more in terms of wildcarding 2026. Is it suit my team? But some criteria that I mentioned just now, which is I don't have any Brentford and Brighton players. Liverpool players I overbought maybe, but against Manchester United. Arsenal players in Ketia could be a problem. And then my bench, say, I don't know, TAA, Trippier going missing, okay, which is unlikely. But I do not have any bench because Buena could actually injured right now, right? And Patterson is not an option for now.
Yeah, no bench. Yeah, so if we wildcard, we will definitely be with both of us. Will likely be with benches, unless we wildcard. So the biggest question for you, Hafiz, is for me is the Liverpool players. Are you going to stick with them against Manchester United? So
okay, if I did not take, if I do not wildcard, I think I'm going to bring Tony. I have enough money to replace Nketiah to Tony, but since I'm holding my transfer, I don't know whether Nketiah already dropped in points and Tony rise in price, then I will price out. But Darwin could actually another option. Tony Cummings for Darwin. It could be another option. So we shall see. I feel if one player that need to come in for this week and plan ahead because Brentford going to play back-to-back double game week in 27, 29. They have a good fixture against Fulham this week. So I could take that opportunity and bring in Tony. And to be fair, Brentford did not play last week. So Tony should come fresh coming to this week. Okay. Before we wrap up, we go to question. Rakyat FPL posted a lot of questions. Sorry to Rakyat FPL. Our session yesterday have been called off because we want to know the FA Cup results so that we can talk much better in terms of live stream for today. Did post some question. Martinelli or Odegaard? Martinelli did score 26 points. But I think Odegaard much more secure and is the talisman for Arsenal, mate.
Hard to figure out. Martinelli seems to be back with a vengeance, so I'd go for Martinelli.
Okay. This Azmin actually currently have Odegaard, but he feels that Martinelli is a better choice.
The better pick now.
Zinchenko or Gabriel? I can say Zinchenko for now because he scored the highest for this week among defenders. He actually scored a goal, if I'm not mistaken, last 2 weeks. So Zinchenko for now.
Zinchenko is very attacking. So with Gabriel, you'd expect from set pieces lah. But at the moment, looking the eye test says that Zinchenko seems to be really pushing forward. So Zinchenko for me.
Fair. And Azmin did mention his place actually more secure in terms of minutes, despite there is a challenge from Tierney. Okay, Foden or Mahrez? I don't think both are an option. I will stay away from any Man City asset.
Yeah, not worth the risk.
Yeah. Okay. Spurs will not have any double game week weeks made in future. Yes, we believe that's why in terms of Abu Bakar draft just now doesn't have Kane inside there. So what do you think, Min? Does no double game week for Spurs affect your decision whether to keep or sell Kane?
Gosh, I mean, it's just that Kane is in good form at the moment. So he's solid score, of course, but the only thing is he's a bit pricey. But we've seen there's plenty of options. So if I did have Kane, I would probably keep him, even with all these double games happening around him, because I think he's a good player.
I think he's good pick. He's consistent, even though he's not that explosive. But we know Kane is the main man for Spurs. He's taking penalty. He actually also bonus man. I can tell you that. So next is question about Salah, man. Salah is a big game player. He scored double-digit points last week. He's more consistent in terms of points from KDB, another premium. And he's actually playing Manchester United this game week, man. What do you think?
The problem here is I don't know. Even though Salah did score in midweek, but his movement did not look great. Of course, no, I don't know if anyone's going to agree with me on this one. Actually, Darwin looked better, even though Darwin ended up not returning. Darwin was everywhere. He took a lot. So in the last few matches, between Salah and Darwin, when Darwin played, I always thought Darwin looked better. So for me, it's a sell, unfortunately, for Salah. Hard for me to say it, but yeah.
I'm going to say keep because I'm going to support him. I think I'm going to keep him because I feel if any Liverpool players you keep, it's definitely Salah.
Him, right? Yeah, true. Fair enough.
Next, I think we did touch on Tony issue, all right? But for now, I think it's a good time to buy, even though Tony has this issue in terms of court hearing and also on 8 yellow cards. Right, mate? Hard to pass.
Yeah, because we know that it looks as though any punishment will only be in April, so I think there's enough time to fully utilize all the double game weeks involved.
But
we're so selfish.
Yeah, but when I have him, he's going to troll me. So I don't know whether he's going to troll everyone. All right. Next one is Dunk or Estupinan. In terms of Estupinan, he's more high on pitch. But I think he's actually kind of injured, right? So we're not sure in terms of his condition. We might know more in terms of his condition in the press conference. But what do you think, mate?
Yeah, check for injury news, but if else equal, if Estupinan is fit, I would go for Estupinan. Dunk, although I've had a soft spot for Dunk, he has not been the goal threat that he used to be. Yeah, I think it because there's plenty of goal threat around him these days. Where Brighton used to struggle for goals, now it's not a problem. So, yeah, I'd probably go for Estupinan if I had to go.
I will pick Estupinan. Yep. Next, man, about Brentford defender, me or Henry. You did mention on the Henry, but for me, it's me because he's the third highest scorer for Brentford after Raya and Tony. What do you think, man?
Henry, for me, I'm buying into Abu Bakar's tweet, and I like the sound of it, and I'll be going for Henry. Even though, yes, me is a decent goal threat as well, but Henry for me.
Raya or Sanchez, both has really double game week fixture coming up. Brentford and Brighton. Min, what do you think?
Raya for me. I think Raya's the best, and also because he doesn't blank. So assuming that you're not wildcarding, then it's Raya for me. Even if you're wildcarding, it's still Raya for me because I think he's good. He's doing well.
Okay. If I'm wildcarding, I might actually have both, okay, because they're cheap enough and you can rotate. And just to mention, with Brighton blanking so much, there will be in future Brighton going to play a lot of double game week, and then you can take advantage of playing Sanchez during those weeks. That's what I feel. Really future thinking, forward thinking. But that could be the one because Brighton has been missing a lot of games. It's FA Cup. Now they actually blank in game week 28. They already have fixture not against Newcastle was postponed, right? So pretty much they have some fixture in future. Newcastle have one fixture to be rescheduled, which is the Newcastle Brighton. Is it wise to bring in goalkeeper pair or Pope and Kepa for game week 26? What do you think, Min?
Nah, I'm not a fan because Brighton can score goals. They had a rare blank the other day, but I don't think that's gonna be the same. So Newcastle aren't that great at the moment, so I wait until to see if they're more stable.
Okay, just to mention for Kepa pick, Chelsea gonna lose Thiago Silva because of injury for the I think 6 week around it. So Thiago is actually talisman in terms of stats. If I see right, playing actually in terms of percentage win rate, when Thiago Silva in the team is like 40%. If he's not in the team, like 16%. So that's how the stats is. So without Thiago Silva, I think Chelsea gonna suffer. All right. Last but not least, from Zafran Hakim is talking about which combo is the right one. Kim and Madison. What Kings and Sun? You still like Sun? Kevin, what do you think?
Kane plus medicine, because Sun is just not there.
It's already game week 20 coming 26, and Sun is not even a consideration, right, for the past like 26 game, right? And considering last year, he's really is the player that everyone going on board. It's just pity. I agree, Kane and Madison for the combo. All right, man. We come to the end of the stream. Just past 1 hour mark. Right. Just quick one in terms of game week 26. Deadline will be on Saturday. We have time. We can think about whether we can. Wildcard is 7 p.m. because the early kickoff is 8:30. Man City versus Newcastle. So, like, if you're lucky, you get Man City and Newcastle team news early. And if you enjoy the stream, okay, please support us by hitting the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel, FPL Jedi Show. So, Min, your last word.
Yeah, I think I'm just happy that the deadline's on Saturday, because I think we do have a lot of prep to do and reading to do, and with work getting in the way. If it was on Friday night, I think I'm gonna me over. So I'm very, very happy. So all the best, guys. We'll see you on the deadline stream. We are having a deadline stream, I think. Okay. Yeah, it should be.
Yeah. All right. Thank you guys for joining. Thank you for watching. Okay. Until then, may the force be with you. Bye-bye.